News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks. U.S. officials say a deal with Iran will not be signed today, citing Iran's frustratingly slow system after President Trump posted on social media that the U.S. won't be rushed. He says both sides must take their time to get it right. Earlier, though, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said there may be some good news regarding the blocked Strait of Hormuz.
Some progress has been made, significant progress, although not final progress has been made.
Iran has been pushing a toll system in the strait, which has become a sticking point for the U.S. Bloomberg's Jomana Bersecci reports from London.
Now we're in a situation where Iran have discovered that they have a lot of leverage over this key chokehold for the global economy, and they're not going to give it up without getting something in return. And for them, the incentive is clearly economic.
That's Bloomberg's Jomana Bersecci on Bloomberg This Weekend. Meantime, Britain's standing by to minesweep the strait. Armed Forces Minister Al Carnes.
The commercial insurance companies need absolute certainty if we're going to get 120 vessels flowing again through the Straits of Hormuz. Once that's up and running, the commercial and economic value of the Middle East, both coming out and going in, can get up and going.
At least 6,000 ships have been blocked from passing through Hormuz, but Bloomberg reports a liquefied natural gas tanker carrying a shipment is now headed to western India after transiting the strait. It's the first for the country from the Persian Gulf since the war started. Hormuz has remained virtually shut, and most vessels have turned off their transponders to avoid detection. A major escalation overnight in the war on Ukraine. Russia confirms its military fired a hypersonic Oreshnik missile near Kyiv as part of a massive attack involving 90 missiles and about 600 drones. Ukraine's Air Force intercepted most of them. The Secret Service has identified the gunman who opened fire outside the White House yesterday as 21-year-old Nasir Best. They still don't know what led to the shooting, but Best was arrested last July for walking into a restricted area on White House grounds and had been known to Secret Service for walking around the complex asking how to gain access. President Trump was at the White House yesterday, but officials say he's fine. The Federal Reserve's favored inflation gauge is now rapidly approaching 4% as a war-driven spike in energy costs generates more unease that price pressures will just get worse. Bloomberg's Ed Kalegi has details.
Government data on Thursday is expected to show the personal consumption expenditures price index jumped 3.8% in April from a year ago. That would put inflation a full percentage point higher than it was in February, marking the biggest two-month acceleration since late 2021. The so-called core price measure likely picked up in April to the fastest pace since late 2023. The surge in prices for fuel and other materials created by the war in Iran is reverberating throughout the world economy, with consumer sentiment in the U.S. tumbling to a record low and global businesses highlighting cost concerns. Ed Kalegi, Bloomberg Radio.
Higher gas and jet fuel prices aren't keeping millions of Americans from traveling this Memorial Day weekend. Clint Henderson's managing editor of The Points Guy.
The airlines have been raising baggage fees. They've raised ticket prices over and over again. We're looking at summer airfare up between 20 and 30%. So far, that's not impacting bookings, but I have a feeling that's going to change if this continues.
Henderson on Bloomberg This Weekend. Right now, AAA's got the national average at $4.51 a gallon, but experts have warned that we could hit $5 by July. And Delivery Hero has confirmed Uber's takeover offer at a price 3 cents higher than its closing share price last week, which would value the German delivery company at about $11.6 billion. Uber's working to expand competition with DoorDash outside of the U.S. It already owns a 20% stake in Delivery Hero. Later today, all 39 NASCAR drivers at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway will race with a black number 8 decal on their car to honor Kyle Busch. The NASCAR legend died last week from pneumonia that quickly progressed into sepsis. He was 41 years old. And the French Open's now underway at Roland Garros in Paris. Coco Gauff's looking to defend her title on the women's side. And Yannick Sinner's the men's favorite with reigning champ Carlos Alcaraz out due to a wrist injury. And that's News When You Want It with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks, and this is Bloomberg.